Right, we're on. And in my search thing, the David Pakman Show, blah blah blah, watched it, blah blah blah. What is this? Wikipedia? David Pakman's progressive news and political talk program featuring biting social commentary, controversial interviews with liberal and conservative politicians, activists and religious extremists. First episode date 17th of August 2005. Created by David Pakman. Production locations New York, New York. Presented by David Pakman, host, Pat Ford, producer. Oh, it's fucking stuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. The David Pakman Show. Hurry up. Is there any top result? DavidPakmanShow.com. What does that have to say? Join today, starting at $5 a month. I want to support independent media. Today on the David Pakman Show. January the 8th, 2021. Trump ban. What the hell? Listen to the podcast. On the show, Donald Trump is banned from Facebook indefinitely and at least until the end of his presidency, as Mark Zuckerberg calls out Trump's use of Facebook to incite supporters and spread disinformation. Donald Trump's former attorney, William Barr, accuses Donald Trump of read more. And it looks like it's still davidpakman.com. Support your independent media. So he's coming across as some kind of journalist with a PhD, like Reza Aslan. Who gives a shit about Donald Trump on fucking Facebook? David Pakman, Wikipedia. Come on. Oh, is it gonna work or is it not? Right, Wikipedia, English Wikipedia, the David Pakman Show. A major contributor to this article appears to... I don't get... What? A major contributor to this article appears to have a close connection with its subject. It may require clean-up to comply with Wikipedia's content policies, particularly neutral point of view. Please discuss further on the talk page. May 2019. Learn how and when to remove this template message. David Pakman Show, TDPS. Originally Midweek Politics with David Pakman, is a multi-platform progressive news talk show currently airing on television, radio and the internet, hosted by David Pakman. The David Pakman Show, created by David Pakman. Presented by David Pakman, host, Pat Ford, producer, country of origin, United States. Original language, English. Production, producers, David Pakman, executive, Pat Ford. Productions, locations, blah blah blah, Jesus Christ. External links. The program first aired in August 2005 on WXOJ, a radio station located in Northampton, Massachusetts, later being nationally syndicated and eventually achieving broader international distribution in a number of countries as well as online. The focus of the show is modern North American politics and society, with frequent discussion of economics, science, religion and public life, culture, reason, gay rights, capital punishment and crime, policing the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, North American foreign policy, technology and other topical issues. The show is noted for interviewing many fringe or extremist personalities in an effort to expose their views, in addition to hundreds of interviews with professors, scientists, lawmakers and others. History. David Pakman was born to an Ashkenazi Jewish family in Buenos Aires, Argentina, in February 1984, and moved to the United States of America at the age of 5. As Midweek Politics with David Pakman. Pakman started the radio version of the program at age 21 on Pacifica Radio affiliate WXOJ, while an undergraduate student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst during his time as an intern at the Media Education Foundation. Public radio syndication began in 2006 on the Pacifica Radio Network, initially a handful of non-commercial talk radio stations. Public radio syndication began in 2006 on the Pacifica Radio Network, Initially, a handful of non-commercial talk radio stations broadcast the show in syndication. The show expanded in 2007 to more public radio stations. Pakman was, for a time, the youngest syndicated radio host in the United States. The same year, Louis Motamedi, a childhood friend of Pakman's, was added as radio producer. In 2009, TDPS, the TDPS Pakman Show, the David Pakman Show, added its first commercial radio affiliate, starting with Green 1640 in Atlanta, Georgia, and WHMP Northampton, Massachusetts. On September the 2nd, Midweek Politics, a simultaneously produced television show, was launched, originally offered to public access television stations across the country, as well as published on the show's YouTube channel. The number of television affiliates grew, and Pakman attributed this to expanding from radio to a visual medium. Pakman's brother, Natan Pakman, became the program's television director in September 2009. I didn't read that very well, and I think I'll read it again. In 2009, TDPS added its first commercial radio affiliates, starting with Green 1640 in Atlanta, Georgia, and Let's move on. As the David Pakman Show in 2010, TDPS launched a paid membership program, maintaining the podcast at no charge, but offering subscribers extra show segments, behind-the-scenes interviews and access to show archives. In July of that year, the show obtained national television distribution through Free Speech TV. The show's first international affiliate, Öppna kanalen in Skövde, Sweden, announced in September 2010 that it would be airing the program. At the same time, the show was moved from WXOJ to its own studio in Northampton, Massachusetts for both the radio and television versions. The name was then changed to The David Pakman Show, TDPS, The David Pakman Show, expanding from a weekly program to 2 episodes per week, broadcast live on Mondays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In August 2012, TDPS moved from a studio in Northampton, Massachusetts, to a studio housed on the campus of Greenfield Community College in Greenfield, Massachusetts. This is boring. Oh my God, the Young Turks. In March 2012, TDPS announced an expansion to 4 episodes per week, Monday to Thursday, and a move to an earlier live broadcast time, 2 p.m. EST. The same year, the show joined the Young Turks network, although it has since left the network. New content and video versions of existing radio programming were produced, including Liberal Oasis radio show hosted by blogger Bill Scher, Take Action News with David Schuster, television journalist and Worldview with Dennis Campbell, editor-in-chief of UK Progressive magazine. As of October 2013, Only Worldview with Dennis Campbell was being actively produced by TDPS, and as of January 2014, TDPS stopped all production of ancillary content. By the beginning of 2013, The David Pakman Show had on its YouTube channel over 25,000 subscribers and 20 million views. In August 2013, the show moved from Greenfield, Massachusetts to New York City, where the program's main studio was housed until May 2015. Currently, producer Louis Motamedi moved to Austin, Texas, where he launched the Austin Bureau of The David Pakman Show. Motamedi's role in the program remained unchanged, including serving as co-host, producer and host of the members-only bonus show. This is all quite boring. What is this? Format, content, website hacking, misidentification, YouTube demonetization. Misidentification. On January the 24th, 2013, Pakman came to realise that he had been identified in the documentary film Minnesota Nice as a gay teenager who had committed suicide. Pakman clarified in a YouTube video that he was neither gay nor a teenager nor dead. On April the 15th, 2014, editions of HLN's Dr. Drew on Call, Pakman was misidentified as former neo-Nazi and KKK member Frank Menck. Pakman was scheduled to be interviewed later on during that program. I find this difficult to understand. Minnesota Nice. What the hell is Minnesota Nice? YouTube demonetization. The David Pakman Show YouTube channel featured prominently in the YouTube demonetization crisis, known colloquially as Apocalypse. Both the New York Times and Wired covered Apocalypse through the lens of the David Pakman Show's YouTube channel. Demonetization. I think I have been demonetized as well. Censorship by Google. This article has multiple issues. Please help. What does it say? This article's lead section may not adequately summarize its contents. To comply with Wikipedia's lead section guidelines, please consider modifying the lead to provide an accessible overview of the article's key points in such a way that it can stand on its own as a concise version of the article. Whatever, lead section, summarize, blah blah. This article may require copy editing for grammar, style, cohesion, tone or spelling. You can assist by editing it. I don't think I can. I tried to join up and I wanted to be a, a Wikipedian, but it hasn't happened. Fuck. Am I on my own one? No, I'm using Bolcott Suite Guest Access. Let's change over and see if it's gonna work. It looks like it might possibly work. Now, what do we want? Do we want to hit the blue? Are we still on? Oh, I think we are still on. Talk show. What does it say for talk show? Is it gonna work or is it not? I might die. I'm so bored. We could do talk show. No, talk show. A talk show or chat show is a television programming or radio programming genre structured around the act of spontaneous conversation. A talk show is distinguished from other television programs by certain common attributes. In a talk show, one person or a group of people or guests discusses various topics put forth by a talk show host. This discussion can be in the form of an interview or a simple conversation about important social, political, or religious issues and events. The personality of the host shapes the tone of the show, which also defines the trademark of the show. A common feature or unwritten rule of talk shows is to be based on fresh talk, which is talk that is spontaneous or has the appearance of spontaneity. Tata Wernick interviews Pablo Vittar on the Lady Night TV show in 2017. For other uses, see talk show disambiguation, not to be confused with the tabloid talk show. The history of the talk show spans back from the 1950s to current. I think that's peculiar English. What would I say? I think was trying to say that the talk show began around the time of the 1950s till now. I don't know. Talk shows can also have several different subgenres which all have unique material and can air at different times of the day via different avenues. Attributes: amongst the inclusion of a host, a guest, guests, and a studio or call-in audience, talk shows make up a distinguished category of television programming based on specific attributes. Guests, audiences, and hosts take turns exchanging dialogue in talk shows. Talk shows are aired via some form of media and are focused on the viewers, which include the participants calling in, sitting in a studio, or viewing from online or on TV. Talk shows centre around the interaction of guests with opposing opinions and or differing levels of expertise, which include both experts and non-experts. Talk shows involve a host responsible for furthering the agenda of the show by remediating, instigating and directing the conversation to ensure the purpose is fulfilled. The purpose of talk shows is to either address or bring awareness to conflicts, to provide information, or to entertain. Talk shows consist of evolving episodes that focus on different perspectives in respect to important issues in society, politics, religion, or other popular areas. Although talk shows include guests of various expertise levels, they cater to the credibility of one's experiences and rationalities as opposed to education expertise. Talk shows function to provide interviews, to address arguments, to play games, to reveal one's truths and to recount epiphanies gained through experience. Talk shows are produced at low costs and are not aired during prime time. Talk shows are either aired live or are recorded live with limited revisions. Subgenres: Oprah Winfrey made the tabloid talk show popular. Oh, well, that goes back. Find tabloid. We don't need to read the whole thing again. Find on this page tabloid. Tab. Oprah Winfrey made the tabloid talk show popular. Tabloid. I want to go back. Where's the tabloid? Oh, tabloid. Not to be confused with tabloid talk show. So what they seem to be saying to me is that Oprah Winfrey's show is a particular subgenre of the higher of talk show is the word rubric? I don't know. So Oprah Shitty Winfrey. There are several major formats of talk shows. Generally, each subgenre predominates during a specific programming block during the broadcast day. Breakfast chat or early morning shows that generally alternate between news, summaries, political coverage, feature stories, celebrity interviews, and musical performances. Late morning chat shows that feature two or more hosts or a celebrity panel and focus on entertainment and lifestyle features. Daytime tabloid talk shows that generally feature a host, a guest, or a panel of guests, and a live audience that interacts exclusively with the host and guests. These shows may feature celebrities, political commentators, or ordinary people who present unusual or controversial topics. Lifestyle or self-help programs that generally feature a host or hosts of medical practitioners, the rapists, or counsellors and guests who seek intervention, describe medical or psychological problems, or offer advice. An example of this type of subgenre is the Oprah Winfrey Show, although it can... I've lost it now. Although it can easily fit into other categories as well. Evening panel discussion shows that focus on news, politics or popular culture, such as the former UK series After Dark, which was broadcast late night. Late night talk shows that focus primarily on topical comedy and variety entertainment. Most traditionally open with a monologue by the host, with jokes relating to current events. Other segments typically include interviews with celebrity guests, recurring comedy sketches, as well as performances by musicians or other stand-up comics. Sunday morning talk shows are a staple of network programming in North America and generally focus on political news and interviews with elected political figures and candidates for office, commentators and journalists. After shows that feature in-depth discussion about a program on the same network that aired just before, for example, Talking Dead. Spoof talk shows such as Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, Tim and Eric Night Live, Comedy Bang Bang and the Eric Andre Show that feature interviews that are mostly scripted, shown in a humorous and satirical way, or engages in subverting the norms of the format, particularly that of late-night talk shows. These formats are not absolute. Some afternoon programs of similar structures are fucking boring. The tabloid talk show genre, pioneered by Phil Donahue in 1967 but popularised by Oprah Winfrey, was extremely popular during the last 2 decades of the 20th century. The last 2 decades, that'd be, well, going back to 2000. Talk show host Howard Stern also hosted a talk show that was syndicated nationally in the US, then moved to satellite radio's Sirius. The tabloid talk show genre, pioneered by Phil Donahue in 1967 but popularised by Oprah Winfrey, blah blah blah. Politics are hardly the only subject of American talk shows, however. Other radio talk show subjects include Car Talk, hosted by NPR, and Coast to Coast AM, hosted by Art Bell and George Noory, which discusses topics of the paranormal, conspiracy theories, fringe science, and the just plain weird. Sports talk shows are also very popular, ranging from high-budget shows like The Best Damn Sports Show period to Max Kellerman's original public access television cable TV show, Max on Boxing. History, God help us. Talk shows have been broadcast on television since the earliest days of the medium. Joe Franklin, an American radio and television personality, hosted the first television talk show. The show began in 1951 on WJZ TV, later WABC TV, and moved to blah blah blah, who gives a shit. Ireland's The Late Late Show is the second longest running talk show in television history and the longest running talk show in Europe, having debuted in 1962. Steve Allen was the first host of The Tonight Show, which began as a local New York show, being picked up by the NBC network in 1954. It, in turn, had evolved from his late-night radio talk show in Los Angeles. Allen pioneered the format of late-night network TV talk shows, originating such talk show staples as an opening monologue, celebrity interviews, audience participation, and comedy bits in which cameras were taken outside the studio, as well as music, although the series' popularity was cemented by second host Jack Paar, who took over after Allen had left and the show had ceased to exist. Oh, how boring, blah, blah, blah. There's always so much to learn, but there's